So in the last meeting we stopped here. It is about the comparison operators, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. We'll start here with the if statement. The syntax of the if statement is given here. If the Boolean expression and then execute some statements. So here the Boolean expression, which is followed by the reserved word if, okay, must be within the parenthesis. It means it must be within these brackets. What you see here, these brackets. Okay, so if it is written within the brackets, then you have the statements inside the body of the if. These are the statements. Okay. What we give the spaces here, we leave some spaces here. This is to aid the readability or to make it easy to read. This is spaces, but it is not compulsory or mandatory. Okay. The statement following the if, you have a semicolon is needed after closing the braces. So this is a flow chart or the workflow diagram for the if statement. Execute any statement before the if and check the Boolean expression. If it is evaluated to true, execute the statement in the braces, which means that these statements are executed if this expression is true. If this expression is false, then you skip these statements and execute the statement after the if block. So if it is false, then you execute, carry on with the rest of the program without executing this statement. So it means that this expression, the Boolean expression, which will return true or false, this will return true or false. If it is true, these statements are executed. If it is false, these statements are not executed and it will carry on to the next. And in case of true, it will execute this statement and carry on to the next. If it is true. For example, let us see this JavaScript code. It says there is a bank balance and the withdrawal amount. Two variables. Bank balance is 100 and you are asked to enter the amount you want to withdraw. And you are asked to enter the amount that you want to withdraw. You want to withdraw how much? So it says how much do you want to withdraw, that you are going to enter into the withdrawal amount and convert that into a number by using a parse float. And now you check if the withdrawal amount is greater than the balance, then you cannot withdraw. Okay, or you can say that there is a low balance, or you cannot do that. So here we need to check a Boolean expression, we need to check a condition that the withdrawal amount is greater than the bank balance is 100, and if the user enter 150, you cannot do that because the balance is 100. Then the withdrawal should be 100 or less than 100. So in this case, we will check the condition. If the withdrawal amount is greater than the bank balance, then we say document.write, you cannot do that. If not, if the withdrawal amount is not greater than, then this condition is false and it will come out here and say goodbye. Okay, we'll write that simple program in Notepad. So script. Now we declare a variable called var the bank balance, comma, with withdrawal amount. Okay, and we set the bank balance is equal to 100. Now we ask the user to enter the withdrawal amount. Okay, by using window.prompt. So withdrawal amount is equal to window.prompt of enter the withdrawal amount, that how much you want to withdraw. The user will enter the withdrawal amount. Whatever the user enter, it is in the form of a string. We need to convert that into a number. We will convert that into a number as by using the parse float. Withdrawal amount is equal to parse float of withdrawal amount. Okay. Now we got this withdrawal amount. We got to check whether the user what the withdrawal amount is greater than the balance or less than the balance, or it is less than the balance. So it is if withdrawal amount is greater than bank balance, then what you will do? You display a message that you cannot do that, or the balance is low, or a low balance. So whatever the message appropriate, you can give the message. For example, I say you cannot do that. Fine. And finally I say goodbye. This is our script, and this is the HTML body tag. Let us save this in M150A scripts. If selection .html. Now this is here in scripts. If selection.html. Enter all the withdrawal amount. Let's say I enter 150. 150 says you cannot do that because the balance what we set is what? The balance what we set is 100 and you are entering 150. So withdrawal amount 150 is greater than balance. It is true. Once this condition is true, it will execute this and then it will go here. I'll put a break row here just to put it in the next line. Okay. Now what if we run the when we enter the value which is less than 100, okay, for example 90, then it's just goodbye. Okay, because this condition becomes false. When this condition becomes false, the block is not executed. It will just come out of the loop and execute, come out of the if and execute the statement after if. Okay, so this is to explain you that how the if will work, how the if works. So this is about testing the program by giving the values, what we have done. Right? We also have an if else statement. In the else part, we want to do something. For example, you set the bank balance is, if it is withdrawal amount is greater than bank balance, then you say you cannot do that. Otherwise, you have to deduct that withdrawal from the balance and set the new balance. Okay. So here that can be done by using if else. If the condition is true, if the Boolean expression this is true, execute the first block of statement and skip the else part. And if the condition is false, then skip the first block, execute the else block. So here it is an alternate. If the condition is true, the first block of a statement with the if will be executed, and if the condition is false, the second block of statement with the else will be executed. So it is simple as if else or otherwise. Okay. The flowchart is given how an if else works. It will first evaluate the condition. If it is true, a set of a statement is executed and it will continue the execution to the statements after the if block. And if it is false, then a set of statements are executed, the other set is skipped, and it will continue the execution. Fine. So in our case, we'll check here. We'll make the balance withdraw. We'll deduct the withdrawal amount from the balance if the condition is false. That means if the balance is less than, the withdrawal is less than the balance. The withdrawal amount is less than the balance amount. So in our program, what we have to do is that we need to now check again. We need to now put the else part for our if. Else will make the balance, bank balance is equal to the bank balance minus the withdrawal amount. This is in the else part. And to check that what is the balance, okay, if you want to check that what is the balance, you can write a document.write the new balance is plus bank balance, right? So this will give you the new balance. So let us put this over here. Enter the withdrawal amount. For example, if I enter 150, it is, you cannot do that, the balance is 100, okay, and the goodbye. And if I enter, for example, 50, then the new balance is 50 and a goodbye. Okay, so it is going to the else part here. So if the withdrawal amount is greater than the bank balance, it says you cannot do that, and it will display the balance and the goodbye. If it is less than, if this condition is false, it will go to the else part with minus the withdrawal amount from the bank balance, and then it will come out and display these two lines. Okay, to display these two lines. Now this new balance that you want to print this when there is a deduction. If there is no deduction, you don't want to print the new balance, then we have what we have to do, a small change is that we have to put this statement inside the else block. In this case, what will happen, when there is a withdrawal, then only it will show you the new balance. Otherwise, it is same as previous balance, so it is no need to show the balance. Just say goodbye. Okay. So in this case, what happens here now is that you enter, for example, 150. Sorry, I think we did not save this. So let's say, for example, you enter 150. You just say you cannot do that, goodbye. Or it is a low balance, goodbye. And if you do the deduction, for example 50, then it will show you the new balance 50, So 50 is deducted. Now the new balance is 50 and it says goodbye. Okay. Now the another thing we need to understand here is that when we use these blocks, these brackets with the if and these brackets with the else, opening of this bracket, closing of the bracket, this is required when you have more than one statement inside that block. For example, in this if, I have only one statement here. Okay. In this case, if I remove this brackets, it will work fine. Or if I put the brackets, it will work fine. In this case. Okay. Why? Because it is a single statement. When it's come to single statement, it's okay. You put the bracket as a block or not. Okay. But good option that you put the block. That will make it separate. That this is an if block and this is an else block. When you have a single statement. Okay. Now, if you have more than one statement, like for example in the else block we have two statements, then it is mandatory or it is compulsory that you put the block, open up the bracket and here it is close of the bracket. You put this statement inside the block. If you miss this putting this statement inside the block, what will happen? It is not an error, it will give you some wrong output. For example, if I enter 150, it will give you the new balance also. But it should not supposed to give the new balance. In our case, when we put these brackets, when we had these brackets, okay, and we enter 150, what it showed, it just showed you cannot do that goodbye. There is no need to show the new balance. But accidentally or by some mistake we miss these brackets, we miss the block. And we want this statement only when it is in else block, only when this is false, this condition is false, execute those both statements. But if you forget to put these brackets, what will happen? It will execute the second statement of the else. Like for example here it is giving the new balance 100, which is the second statement, this statement. So it means that it will consider only first statement here. Second statement is not considered. So which means that when you have more than one statement, you have to put that in a block. And when you have a single statement, it is optional. You put in a block or you don't put it in a block. Block, it means inside the brackets, opening the bracket and closing the bracket. Okay. Then improving the readability by using comments. We can use the comments in our programs that to describe what is the program, what are the different variables, or what is the operation going on. Any comments you want to add in the program to make more readable, to understand the program, okay, you can do that by using an option of comments. Okay, so the purpose of the program and which they work can be made clear if we include explanatory comments that will explain what is the purpose of the program. Okay, comments are intended solely for human readers and are ignored by the JavaScript interpreter. Ignored by the JavaScript interpreter. It means that they are not executed. They are ignored while it comes to execution. They are ignored. JavaScript provides two ways for comment. The first, double slash, we call it as it is for a single line comment. This is also called an inline comment, a single line comment. For example, in our program, if you want to put a comment here, okay, inside the script, we say that here put a single line comment, /, and you write, for example, program to check the if selection, okay, or whatever the program is you want to explain. Just for the programmers, not for the users. Okay, and these are not executed. When you run this program, that will not come into picture. It will not execute it. For example, here 150, you have the output, but that line what I write with // it is a comment and it is ignored by the interpreter. It is not executed. Okay, these are called a single line comment. Like this, if you want to have multiple line comment, you want to have 2, 3, 4 lines of comment, that can also be done by using these symbols, a slash, a star, and a star slash, ending with a star slash. So for example, in our program, in my program over here, you say I want to put a multiple line comment, a program for selection where I use a bank example, okay, then example of withdrawal and bank balance, whatever you want, how many lines you want, you write, and end with a star slash. In this case, whatever we write between these two, star slash and end with a star slash, okay, this will be ignored. This will not be considered. This is only for the programmer to read about the program. These are called comments, which will make the program more readable. Okay. So it is a good practice for you to include comments in all our programs, and very least you should include the comment at the top of the program stating what the program is for. So now you are doing some programs in your homework, right? In your TMA, you have some programs, right? In that programs, when you write a comment. In that comment, write what is this program is. For example, a program to add 2 numbers. So you put a comment over there on the top, double slash or a slash star. This program is to add 2 numbers. The input is 2 numbers, number 1 and number 2, and the output will be the addition of 2 numbers. And close the comment. Okay. This is a simple explanatory comment. This is a simple explanatory comment that will explain what is the program. So in your homework, what you do the homework, you have to include the comments in the program. In the homework, include the comment. Now here some hints for writing program with selection structure. That when we use a selection, that is if else, okay, in our program, we have some hints. First of all, start by thinking what variables you will need to hold the data being input, processed, and the output, giving the meaningful identifiers. First think that what variables I need to store the data, what variables need to take the input, and what variables I need to print the output, and give them a meaningful variable. For example, we gave an example here of bank balance. Now what variables we took is bank balance. This is to describe the balance in the bank. Withdrawal amount. This is to describe the amount which the user want to withdraw. Okay. These are called meaningful names. Instead of this, we can also say like this. For example, instead of bank balance, I will just say where BB and WA. BB is for bank balance, WA for withdrawal amount. This is also right in programming, but it is not a meaningful name. For someone sees my program, I am using BB and WA. It says what is BB and what is WA? You don't know. Now in this case, the program readability goes, it is not, you cannot read it correctly, or you cannot interpret it correctly, that what is this BB and what is this WA. Okay. For this reason, what we will do is that we will keep the meaningful names like bank balance, withdrawal amount, student name, student ID, marks, TMA, MTA, like this. The variable name which are meaningful. By looking into the variable name, we can understand why it is used. Okay, so first of all, we think of the variables what we need in our program. What is the variables needed for the input, what is the variable needed for the output, and how the processing is done. Okay, so first you declare the variables in the program. First declare the variables, variable for the input, variable for the output, and if there is any variable required for processing, and give the meaningful variable names. Then decide what condition that you want to test, that is expression you want to be either true or false. That is, you have an if condition in your program. What is the condition inside the if? Like in our program we had a condition like if withdrawal amount is greater than balance. This is a condition. Like this you have to think what condition should be there inside the program. Then after this, what do you want to do if the expression evolved to true? If the condition become true, what you want to do? And if the condition become false, what you want to do? That you have to decide. If the condition becomes true, then you put that with the if block. And if the condition become false, what you want to do? That you put in the else block. So if this condition is true, then this will be executed, the first one. And if this condition is false, then the second one will be executed. The else part will be executed. Clear? Then is there anything particular you want to do if the expression evaluate to false? This is the false. And how do you want to end the program? After this, checking the condition true, false, the end of the program, what you want to do, that you have to specify. This is some hints for writing a program for with the if selection. The next here is introduction to more complex conditions. That how we can have a more complex conditions. More complex conditions, it means there are two or more conditions in one expression. Two or more conditions in one expression. For example, here it is x greater than 3 or x less than or equal to 1. So here there are two conditions. Condition number 1, x greater than 3. Condition number 2, x less than or equal to 1. Two conditions. Okay. These are called complex condition, complex conditional, and this can be done by using the logical operators like and, or, and not. And, or, and not. Now how do we write in JavaScript and, or, and not? Not is written as an exclamatory mark in JavaScript. In the JavaScript code, not is written like this. Or is written with the two pipe symbols, or, and is written with two ampersand symbols, and in JavaScript. So for example, it says x greater than 3 or x less than or equal to 1. This is an or condition. This can be written in JavaScript like this: x greater than 3 or with two pipe symbols, x less than or equal to 1. If it is x greater than 3 and x less than or equal to 5, then this can be written like this: if x greater than 3 and ampersand x less than or equal to 5. Not true that x greater than 10, that is not of x greater than 10. It means x is less than or equal to 10. Okay, so not is written in this fashion in JavaScript. Clear? Now here is an example that program to check. See, this is a commit. A program to check whether the user has a good day or not. This is a commit. Like this you have to put the comments in the programs. Put a / and write the comments. What is the program is. Okay. Now this program is to ask the user whether you have a good day or not. The user will input S or Y. If the user enter S or Y, then display a message glad to hear it. Otherwise, display a message maybe tomorrow will be better. In either cases, in both the cases, display thank you for replying. Now what is the condition here? Condition is that we need to check what the user enter is equal to S or it is equal to Y. The user response is equal to X or it is equal to Y. This we have to check, right? So we'll take a variable called response, var response, and response is equal to window.prompt, are you having a good day? Now in this, user will enter the value for the response. Either he will enter S, Y-E-S, or he will just enter Y. So we have to check this both the conditions. If the response is equal to S or response is equal to Y. So we'll check the condition. If response is equal to S, this is one condition. Or the other option is response is equal to Y. In any one of these cases, okay, either if the user enter S or Y. If this is true, then we write document.write glad to hear it. Then you display glad to hear it. If this is not false, if this is not true, it will display maybe tomorrow will be better, document.write. And in the finally, in either cases, it finishes saying thank you for replying. So in the final we write document.write thank you for replying. So you got an idea that how to use, how to write the if-else selection from the given question and writing the complex expression by using OR here. Okay, clear? Nested conditions. We can nest the if. It means that we can put if inside another if. We can check the condition inside another condition. That is, if inside another if, we call it as a nested condition. Nested condition. It will check like this. Statement before if, first condition, if it is true, some statement is executed and come out and execute the statement after if. If this is false, it will check the second condition. If the second condition is true, it will execute the second statements. It will not execute this. It will execute the second statement and come out. Now, if this is false, the second condition is also false. First is false, second is false, then it will check the third condition. If it is third is true, it will execute the statement third and come out. Like this, if you go for the next condition, 4, 5, 6, how many conditions you have? And the last, if no condition is true, the else part, the final else will be executed and come out. For an example here, we say that, suppose that we want to write a program, we ask the user to enter the temperature and we are going to give the output based on the temperature. If it is the temperature is less than or equal to 0, we say that it is freezing. If it is not less than 0 but it is less than 15, then we say that it is cold. If it is less than 25, it is a nice. But if it is greater than 25, it's hot. This can be done by using nested if. This can be done by using nested if. How it is done is given here. First, we need to take the input, that is the temperature from the user. Temperature from the user, right? So it will first we will take the temperature variable and we say temperature is equal to window.prompt. Please enter the today's current temperature in degrees Celsius. So here user will enter the temperature. For example, 15, 25 or 10 or 0 or -1. What is the temperature? Now that what the user enter is in the form of a string, you need to convert that into number because you are checking this number less than 0 or greater than 25 or less than 25, checking with the number. So you have to convert that number. we will convert that by using parse float. Parse float of temperature is temperature. Temperature is equal to parse float of temperature. What this parse float will do, will convert that what you enter, that is as a string, will be converted into a number. Then we check the condition. If temperature is less than or equal to 0, it is freezing. If this is true, this will be executed and come out. But if this is false, let's say the temperature is 10. 10 is not less than or equal to 0. It is false. So it will go to the else part. In the else, again it will check the condition. If it is less than 15, so 10 is less than 15. So it will say it is true and it will print it is cold and come out. Let's say that user enter 25. Sorry, let's say it is 20. So 20 is less than 0, false. Come to the else part. Again inside the else, 20 less than 15, false. Go to else part, again inside the else. Temperature 20 less than 25, true. It will say it is a nice day and come out. And if you enter more than that, for example you enter 35, 35 less than 0, false. Go to else part. If 35 less than 15, it is false. Go to else part. 35 less than 25, false. Go to the else. There is no condition now. Here directly it will print else. It's hot and come out. Fine. This type of checking the conditions, that is condition inside another condition, we call it as a nested condition. Nested condition, and this can be achieved in JavaScript. One thing we saw here is that enter today's temperature. In today's temperature we use slash colon code, a single code, right? Why we use a slash here? It means that to tell the interpreter that this code is not the end of the string. It is like this, today's with apostrophe s. Okay, and this slash colon is called an escape characters. Any character with a slash, we call it as an escape character. We call it as an escape character. So this is about the if statement. So in the if statement you have a simple if without else, then you have if else, and then you have a nested if, and you have complex conditions. That is condition, more than one condition in one, by using and or, by using and by using or. Okay, so this is about the if, and there are hints for you that how you use the if in your program. First of all, you should know what is the condition, what condition you want to check, and if that condition is true, what you want to do, and if that condition is false, what you want to do. Okay, that you should know for the if else. Fine. So this is about the if else. The next what we have is for the looping, that is the while statement in JavaScript. Okay, so for now we'll stop here for prayer. We'll pray Maghrib, and inshallah we'll continue after Maghrib prayer. Okay, sure. So we'll continue here. Now the next structure here we are going to talk about is a looping structure that we are going to talk about while statement. Before this, what we discussed is in selection if. We have seen simple if else, nested if, okay, and conditions, like how you make a complex condition by using the logical operators. The next we have a repetition. After the selection, we have repetition. We have seen in unit number 6 that it is a sequential, then selection and repetition, the structures for the program. Now this while loop comes under the repetition. The while statement, the syntax for the while statement is while there is a boolean expression or condition that will evaluate to true or false. While this condition is true, there are one or more statement inside the body of the while to be executed. This is called the body of the loop. This is the body of the loop. And this one, the boolean expression what you have here is the condition of the loop. When this condition is true, this body is executed. The body of the loop is executed. Again, the check condition is checked. If the condition is true, the loop body is executed. Again, the condition is checked. So every time if it is true, it will execute the loop body. Once it becomes false, it will come out of the loop. It means once it becomes false, then it will come out of the loop. After the loop, if there is any statement that will be executed after the loop. This is the structure for this looping. This is the whole loop, the while loop, sorry. Statement before the while loop if there is any, then inside the while loop if there is a condition or a boolean expression to be checked. If this expression is true, then the body of the loop is executed. Execute the body of the loop and go back and check the condition again. Still the condition is true, execute the loop body, go back and check the condition. Still the condition is true, again execute the loop body, go back and check the condition. Every time it is true, execute the loop body, go back and check the condition. Once the condition becomes false, it will come out and carry on the rest of the program after the loop, after the while. So what do you think that if the condition is always true, what will happen?
Go and save.
Huh?
Go and save.
It will go on repeating these statements. If the condition is always true, it will be an infinite loop. We call it as an infinite loop. Infinite loop. When it is an infinite loop, then you cannot stop that. It will go on executing. You cannot stop it. The program will not stop at all. Okay. So in this case, what should be done? You have to stop by force. You have to close it by force by pressing Ctrl X or by closing the window. Okay. So it means that we should have the condition should become or must become false at some stage. Otherwise it will go on infinite loop. So the condition here must become false at some stage, after some time, after some repetition. It will repeat 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, then it should become false. The condition must become false. It should repeat 10 times, then after 10 times it should become, the condition become false. Okay. So we have to take care that at some point the condition will become false. So here is an activity program that write a JavaScript code which repeatedly prompt the user to enter a new password and then retype it until 2 input matches. A message should be displayed, then your password has changed. So it is like re-entering your password. First you enter your password, again re-enter your password just to confirm. So what you have to enter the same password. The first password and the second password should be same. If they are not same, it should display a message that please re-enter the password. Again you have to enter and that should be same. Okay. So here we have 2 variables, the number 1 password, the second repeat password. In the first password variable, we ask the user to enter the password, user will enter the password. We save it in a password variable. In the second, we ask the user again to re-enter the password. Once the user re-enter the password, we'll check if password is not equal to repeat password. If they are not equal, we are going to ask again, your password don't match or does not match, please re-enter the password. Again he will enter the password into a repeat password, the password and the repeat password. Once you enter the password and the repeat password, this is checked again. If password is not equal to repeat password, that means it is true. For example, you enter the password XYZ. You enter the repeat password ABC. Both are not same. If they are not equal, again it is true. Not equal, it means it is true. Password is not equal to repeat password, it is true. If it is true, again it will ask the user. It will say that your password don't match, please enter the password and re-enter the password. Both will be taken, again will be check the condition. If you are entering the same password, now at this point you enter XYZ and XYZ. Both are same now, both are equal. So this password not equal to password is false because they are equal. So this become false. Once this become false, it will come out of the loop and say thank you, your password has changed. You got the idea? How this repetition is taking place based on this condition. Until this condition is true, there is a repetition. Once this condition becomes false, it will stop the repetition. Now, do you know that how many times it is repeated? The loop body, how many times it is repeated? Until the password and the repeat password are same. But we don't know the exact number. It depends on the user. If the user entered for the first time the repeat password and password same, it will not execute at all. The body will not execute it. It will check the condition, both are equal. So it is false now, not equal is false. Come out of the loop and write thank you. So it is not repeated. If the first time user did not enter the same password, so it will repeat one time. Next time, if the user enter the correct, it will come out. Only one time is repeated. So in the while loop, basically, this is used when we don't know how many times we repeat it. How many times we repeat it. We want to repeat the loop. Okay. These cases we are going to use the while loop. There is another exercise. What would be the effect of the following while loop if your response to the prompt statement is input 37? This is your program where window.prompt enter a number smaller than 30 and you enter 37, while 37 greater than 30, please enter a smaller number than a number smaller than 30. Now what will happen here? If you enter here 37 instead of less than 30 or smaller than 30, this is your program. You are asked to enter a number. Enter a number is smaller than 30, but you enter 37. So it will take that 37 into my var it is 37. 37 greater than 30 is, which is true. So if it is true, it will come in and display this message. Please enter a number smaller than 30 and again go back to the check the condition. Now what is the number? 37. 37 greater than 30? True. Again it will display the message. Go back to check the condition. The condition is still true. 37 greater than 30. So again it will repeat. So this will be an infinite loop. Go on repeating. This is called an infinite loop. You can do that. take that myvar window.prompt, enter a number smaller than 30, and we need to convert that number into integer by using parse float. Myvar is equal to parse float of myvar. This is a conversion from a string to a number. Okay, now we'll check the condition while myvar is greater than 30. If myvar is greater than 30, then we write document.write enter a number less than 30 or smaller than 30, and we close the loop and say document.write and the finally thank you. Save this. Let's say if I enter, so if I enter less than 30, for example smaller than 30, I'll enter 15. It will just say thank you. Why? Because when I enter 15 is greater than 30 false. 15 greater than 30 false. Once it is false, it will come out of the loop. Then this is the loop body, so it will not execute the loop body out of the loop and just say thank you. So in our case it is thank you. But if I enter greater than 30, now what will happen now? See, this is gone struck. See the problem? Because this is an infinite loop. Okay, the process is going on, the looping is going on in the system. Either you stop it, control Q, stop the script. You see how many times it is printed? You don't know the exact number. But the loop goes on. The loop, it goes on. Printing. Okay. So this is called an infinite looping. This is what we call it as an infinite looping. See, still it is not responding. You have to press either Control Q or you have to close it by force. Okay. See, now it is stopped. See how many times it is printed. The loop goes on repeating. Okay. This type of looping we call it as an infinite loop. Infinite loop. So in this case, what we have to do that we have to make sure that the loop condition will become false after some time, after some execution. Now program for this is a use of sentinel values in the looping. So now here in these cases, in the while loop, as I told, we don't know that how many times the loop will be repeated, how many times we want to repeat the loop. Okay, we'll stop the loop based on some value, For example, in this example, if you want to stop the loop, we have to read the number again, okay, and make sure that the user enter number less than 30. Okay, in this case we want to stop it, again we have to do this operation. That in this case we got to do all this, and please enter and smaller than 30, take the number, again it will check. Okay, so here in this case, for example, I enter 37. It says enter a number less than 30. It will not take. Again, if I enter 35, it will not take. Once I enter less than 30, for example 6, it will stop. It will come out. Okay. Now coming out of the loop is based on some value. The value less than 60. This value on which the loop ends, we call it as a sentinel value. The value on which the loop ends, we call it as a sentinel value. We call it as a sentinel value. Fine. Now we'll take a program here, a program that add up a succession of positive numbers entered by the user. It display the total when the negative number is entered. And whatever the numbers you go on entering, it will add to the total. Okay. Once you enter the negative number, it will stop and give you the total. How many positive numbers it is added. It is like write a program to add positive numbers from the user, and once the user enter -1 or a minus number, stop the adding and display the total. Okay. Now what is the sentinel value here? That is minus value. Once you get that value minus, you have to stop. If the value is not minus, you add that number to the total. Again, ask the user to enter the number. So for that we need these variables. We need a total variable to add the total, to add the numbers into the total. We need a next number, the number what you enter. Okay. Total initially 0. Why? Because total initially 0. Once you enter a positive number, that is added to the total. So 0 plus that number will be that number. Again you enter a positive number, will be added to the total. Okay. So first we ask it, the current total is display total, and we ask the user to enter a positive number or any negative number to stop. Enter a positive number to add and negative number to stop. And we take that number, we convert it into a number by using parse float, and we check while number is greater than or equal to 0. It means a positive number. Any number greater than or equal to 0 is a positive number. Greater than 0, 1, 2, 3, any number is a positive number. Less than 0 is a negative number. So if a number is greater than 0, it means it is a positive number. So adding the new value, the next number to the total is done like this. Total is equal to total plus next number. Okay, and the current total after adding this number, and then ask the user again to please enter a positive number or any negative number to stop, and take that number. Again go back and check the condition if that number is a negative or not. So the time you go on entering positive numbers, it will be added to the total and displayed. Once you enter a negative number, it will be stopped. It will be stopped. So it will be something like this for our program. If you want to do it, I'll do it in the same script here. I'll take out this script and say var next number, this is a next number, and total. Okay, total initially 0, because total is 0, still we did not add any number. Now we ask the user, we write the user that document.write, or we ask the user to enter the number. We'll take that number into a next number. Next number is equal to window.prompt of enter a positive number or a negative number, positive number to add or negative number to stop. Fine. Now user will enter the number. Okay. So user will enter whatever the user enter the number, that will be converted into a number by using parse float. So next number is equal to parse float of next number. Now we check the condition while next number is greater than or equal to 0. If it is greater than or equal to 0, then we are going to add it to the total. So we say total is equal to total plus next number. It is added. You want to display it, you can display the total here by using document.write. You can display, or you want to display it at the end. After adding all the numbers, only display one time at the end, you can do that also. Okay, so document.write, if you want to display it here, the total is plus total, and again we ask the user to enter the positive number or negative number to stop. The same thing, and we close the while loop. Okay, so in this case, once you stop, once you enter the negative number, it will stop. The loop will stop. For example, here enter a positive number and enter 12. No, there is some problem here. Next number, is it correct? Next number greater than or equal to 0, total is equal to total plus next number, document.write, so do you see where is the problem, or let us test it. So you're getting hello, it means it's working up to here. Okay, so let us go inside this loop and see what is the problem. It's working fine here, so it means it's working up to here, it's okay. Adding the number total is equal to total plus next number. Working fine up to here. Now there is a problem here. What is the problem? Spelling mistake. Document.write. So this is how you go on checking for the mistakes. You put a hello somewhere from where you want to test it. If it is displaying hello up to there, it's okay. Put the hello in the next statement. If it is displaying hello up to there, it's okay. Put the hello in the next statement. If it is displaying up to there, it's okay. Once it will not display hello, it means that above that line there is a problem. Clear? This is how you check. Okay, we enter a positive number 12. The total is 12 now. We enter again 12. Then the total is 24 now. We enter. اكتب بالعربي ايش؟ ممكن if I enter a -1, a negative number, it will stop. Okay, so here the negative number is a sentinel value for us. Okay, or we can directly say that enter -1 to stop. So -1 becomes the sentinel value. Enter -1 instead of negative number to stop, or you can just say that enter -1 to stop or -1 to stop. Now in this case what we have to check that the number is not equal to -1. If the number is not equal to -1, it will go on adding. Once the number is -1, stop adding and come out of the loop. And whatever you put outside the loop, document.write over here. For example, I'll put outside the loop document.write thank you. This is outside the loop. Once the loop is finished, this will be executed. It will print thank you. So now test with, for example, 12, it is 12. Then 23, it is 35. -1, it is stop and say thank you. Okay. You want to put in line by line, then we have to use what? Break row, that is BR. We have to use BR if you want to put line by line. Like you want to put every result in a one line. Okay, -1, thank you. So -1 is a sentinel value which will stop the loop. Now here are some hints for writing a program with the while loop. How to write a while loop. So first we check, do you need any variable outside the loop to hold any data? Do you want any loop variable to hold the data outside the loop? If so, declare them. Okay. The next is, do you want any statement to be executed before the loop? If yes, write those statements before the loop. And then what condition do you want to control the repetition? That is, what is the condition inside the loop? While condition. What is that condition? You have to decide. And what to be happen if this condition is true? If this condition is true, what is the body? What you want to do inside it? You want to add a total, again ask the user for number, or what you want to do inside the loop, inside the body. Okay. And finally you have to check what is the condition that will make, or what is the value that will make the condition false, that will terminate the loop or that will stop the loop. That you have to make sure. And then you have to check if you want any statement after the loop. After the loop, that you have to write outside the loop. Fine. So this is all about the looping. The while loop. Okay. The next we talk about more about the strings. So here I will stop here for today. Okay. And we'll continue in the next class from here, more about the strings. So for today what we did is we took two structures, if and while. Okay. I supposed to continue this, but I don't want you to put more information on it. Just you practice for if and while. In if you have if simple, if else, nested if, and conditions, how to write the conditions inside the if, for the if conditions. And then you have a while looping. In the while, how to write the while using the sentinel values to stop the looping. What is infinite loop? Okay, this you need to practice. So you do all the activities which are there inside these two structures. Okay, and in the next meeting inshallah we'll continue from here more about the strings, and we'll continue more about the looping. We'll take the strings, and again there is one more loop called for loop. We have seen while loop now, using while for the looping. We have another loop called for loop that we are going to study. Okay, and that will cover this unit number 7 inshallah. Once after the next class unit number 7 is finished, we will have the unit number 8. That will be your last class for. Okay, so for today we will stop here, and inshallah we are going to continue from here, from slide number 54 in our next meeting. Okay.